Hello and welcome to Fresh Perspectives. My name is Gail, and my guest today, her name is Terri Hagberg, and she is a pressed flower artist, and she is going to be showing us some of the artwork that she does, and also some of the artwork we'll be seeing today will be artwork that her mother-in-law does. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me here today.
Terri, oh, you're welcome. Now, Terri, how did you get interested in learning to do pressed flower art?
That would be because of my mother-in-law, Dorothy McLeese. Years ago, she started showing me how she had done this. I was always fascinated with flowers beforehand, but she had taken the idea of pressing them in a book to an entirely different level, I believe. So it was challenging for me to learn to do it, and it still is. It's a process, but it's an understanding of patience as well, I believe.
Oh, okay. You just got married to Dorothy's son a few years ago.
Yep, just right? 4 years ago now.
4 years ago? Was it not 4 years ago today?
No. 4 years ago, September.
Oh, September. Okay. So you enjoy it then. It's nice that you and Dorothy, who is your mother-in-law, share an interest.
It was immediately for me like a calming sort of addiction, almost like in a therapy for me. It relieves stress just to grow them and have the whole process take place. It's something I never imagined I would have been doing, but I'm totally enjoying it.
Oh, good. I'm glad. Artwork does tend to be fun. So now you and Dorothy grow a lot of the flowers that you use. Is that correct?
Yes.
What are some of the kinds of flowers that the two of you grow?
This year I seeded and grew pansies, zinnias, some asters. My delphiniums didn't take very well. It's still a challenge, but...
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I guess it probably takes a while to get the hang of it. Now, I'm thinking I read somewhere once that there's the timing for harvesting the flowers and leaves and things that you use in your artwork. Is that like around late morning or something like that? I think I heard that you're supposed to wait till the dew evaporates off of the flowers, and then, but before they have a chance to wilt, late in the day. You want to say something about that?
I've always looked at it kind of like the flowers, it's an odd comparison, more or less to soldiers. The youngest ones are going to be the strongest and more effective in the artwork. So the trick I've learned is to get them when they're first starting to open up, but of course not too early in the day because of the dew. If you press them in that condition, they'll only mildew. And
you don't want that.
Yes, it's not pleasant.
You want something that's usable, don't you?
Exactly.
Yeah, okay. Then would you like to describe how you press and dry them? You have a press with you.
Yes, I did. I brought a sample press, excuse me. It's just 2 plywood pieces, of course, bolted together. And I do have flowers in here.
Oh, okay.
That they were a late press, and they should be about done. It generally takes about 2 weeks, perhaps a little longer, depending on the thickness of the petals of the flower, and if it's been humid conditions, I'd have to open the press more to change the butter paper, again, to prevent mildewing.
Okay, and then you take newspapers or something.
Yep, you can use...
and you probably have to change the newspapers from time to time during the process?
During humid weather, yes.
During humid weather.
Yes, if it's very, very humid, as a few days were this summer. Then
so you don't have to if the weather's really dry.
Yeah, if the weather's dry and warm enough, those are the ideal conditions. But as you can see, none of them ever come out perfectly, at least not for me yet. And so a lot of times I will trim off the jagged edges But these are the blue butterflies, which is a delphinium breed. And then, of course, I had some late blooming pansies. And they always keep their color very well.
Oh, do they? Oh,
Yes,
that's good. That's very pretty too.
So, yes, these are probably the last blooms that I'll have of the year, but I have several of these presses now, and thanks to my husband and my mother-in-law. And basically, when I pick them, you want to set them face down. Sorry about that.
That's
Goodness,
okay.
We're not live.
I'll go get.
But you want to set them face down onto the paper, and that will help them in the drying process to keep them level. It's okay, we don't have to worry about it. Can you edit that out? And after I seal it up, it will take about 2 weeks. Like I said, perhaps a little longer in some conditions, but.
But if it's humid weather, you'll need to change the newspaper.
Yes, and it will probably take longer as well.
Oh, okay.
Since I've been married, my husband has built me a closet. It's a little cabinet, and I can set my presses right in them. He made slots, and below that we use a food dehydrator.
Yeah, that's what Dorothy told me one time was that she puts a food dehydrator in the cabinet with the flowers that are being pressed.
It does greatly expedite the drying process. I can have pansies, I've learned, usually dry in 10 to 12 hours. However, I've burnt several hundreds of pansies learning exactly what level on the racks they should be. If they're too close to the dehydrator, they burn.
Okay. Okay. So there is a lot of figuring out
Trial and error.
how to do it right.
Trial and error, yes.
Okay. And then you use glue. What kind of glue do you use?
Standard school glue or Elmer's glue.
Oh, is that right?
And I like to use a paintbrush to gently brush the flower off the paper, because sometimes with a press they kind of get stuck on, and
Oh, yeah.
obviously you want to pry them off gently.
Right.
And-
Otherwise you're going to wreck them, yeah.
And tweezers just to handle them with, because they are so delicate and they do break. And of course, we've got little baby scissors, embroidery scissors, but that helps to make some of the finer cuts on the petal edges to even them out.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And of course, just a little glue dauber, because you only need a little bit of glue along the edges of the petals and the leaves. So they're basically very easy to find, and
Oh, yeah.
nothing extravagant.
Well, I remember Dorothy, and we'll show some of this stuff. Dorothy, I remember her telling me, I think that she said sometimes she actually has to use a magnifying glass with some of the ones that are smaller, the details that are smaller and finer, because some of her pictures are pictures, I mean, she has pictures of scenery, like it's a farm with a house and a barn and a pasture with cattle grazing in the pasture.
The schoolhouses. And
You know, so I can see, but she did tell me that with some pictures she actually does have to use a magnifying glass. So.
as well as, I believe, a surgical scalpel she ordered online.
A surgical
Yes,
scalpel?
in order to get some of the tiny cuts.
Oh
if
my
I can-
gosh. Yeah, she's got, that one right there.
Oh, no.
Oh,
Oh, gosh.
oh,
sorry.
that happens. You'd be surprised at how often that happens.
Oh, it came
I
up.
don't,
it came
yeah,
up.
okay.
You can edit this, right?
Maybe.
Oh, God, don't say that. I know.
Do you want me to fix it for you?
Is that it? Or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, anyway, I want you to zero in as close as you can get to this picture so that the viewing audience can see how intricate the details are. Such tiny little details with a whole forest behind in the back of the picture there. So, but that is one of her nice ones of scenery, and she's got ferns there for some of the trees. little tiny ferns that are being some of the trees there right near the building in the picture. So anyways, now Dorothy incorporates cobwebs into some of her pictures.
Yes, she does.
But as we all know, when we're sweeping cobwebs away from someplace, they're just going to get mushed. Would you like to tell us what she does to be able to get a cobweb to put in her artwork? She sprays something on it, right?
Yes, the spider webs actually are spray painted.
She uses a spray paint,
Yeah.
and that makes them stiff so
To
that
stand
she
out.
can take them and put them. You want to hold, I will take the one. Yeah, we will hold this so he can zero in on it real good. Those are real spider webs that you are seeing in that picture. And it must be pieces of leaves that she made the spiders out of. It looks like pieces of leaves and things. Some of it looks like pine needles, maybe. But she does a real lot of interesting things with her artwork. So that is really, really nice. I wanted to mention that spray paint. Yeah, it looks like she's got some different shades there, maybe even.
That's a collage of several of them. After she spray paints them, you want to wait and then carefully bring behind your background paper and then put a clear acrylic coating to kind of adhere it onto.
Okay.
And when you pull them out, they do tend to rip quite a bit.
Oh.
They're so very fragile and delicate, so we
Right,
even
right.
recycle the little ripped ones and can put them into collages, greeting cards.
I remember one of my mother's sisters, my Aunt Mary, referring to spider webs as Irish lace curtains.
That's pretty much it, I think.
So, okay, let's see. I guess we can start showing some of the other artwork. This is something here that Dorothy did this too, didn't she?
One of our identification pieces, yes.
Yeah, where you can people can get these from her, and it tells what kind of flowers, what kind of plants
Leaves.
they are. Some of them, this is all leaves, isn't it, on this one? But she does similar ones with flowers. So, people kind of like them, they can identify things. It's kind of almost an educational thing that she does.
Even her handwriting's artistic as well, though.
Oh yeah, it is. And is this yours, Terri?
That was Dorothy's. That
was
yeah.
Dorothy's. This is a merry-go-round horse that she has done. And this, I bet, is yours, Terri, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay. We've got Terri.
Pardon me.
Terry's got this one, did this one. It's an owl sitting on a branch. Dorothy and I have always said how yours is whimsical.
They're different styles.
Yeah,
I think,
they have different styles of doing things. And Dorothy does, unfortunately, there aren't any here, and she probably sold out on them. She does ones of deer. She had one time of a deer jumping over a fence, and, or a fawn curled up, relaxing on the ground. And is that in the oval frame? Is that one yours, Terry?
This is one, yes, this is mine. Dorothy's been trying to instruct me and giving me books on how to do arrangements of flowers, because there is an art to that. I've learned the hard way. But that's one of the newer pieces I was able to do
that
this
looks a
year.
lot like something that Dorothy would make.
It does,
Yeah,
it does, and so I consider that a compliment. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. And what do we have over there in the rectangle?
This is a welcome picture. There's all sorts of different little ideas we can do. There is one that Dorothy has done here.
That is
A
beautiful.
quilt pattern, more or less. And it's almost, you can see the little, like stems that she's used to outline.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah, that is really interesting. It really is.
So, well, it's amazing because we grow them, and a lot of it's just what we can find around on the earth around us as well. So,
Yeah, what are some of you use wildflowers also.
Oh, absolutely.
What are some of the wildflowers that you use?
I love the buttercups. They keep their color very, very well.
Uh-huh.
And just general wildflowers I've found just along the road, the dandelions, daisies, anything like that pretty much can be used.
Yeah.
Lilies I've found are challenging. They tend to stick
Lilies?
to the paper.
Oh.
They somehow adhere, and it's impossible to use even a paintbrush to get them off.
Oh, wow. Well, this makes me think of something that's just around the corner, because by the time this episode airs, it'll be November. It's a picture of a snowman. I'll bet you did that one.
Yes, that's the white poplar leaves for the snowman. The
White
trees,
poplar
yes,
leaves?
that's the underside of the leaf, and they're kind of a difficult tree to find in this area. I know of two.
You won't know where there's only two of
Yes,
them.
but I love the leaves. They keep their color well, and it's an interesting take on Mother Nature's works.
Yes, and then this is one that Terry did.
Yes,
It's a giraffe.
our ballerina giraffe. Yes.
Okay, it looks like you used maybe pansies or something for the tutu.
Yeah, as well as for the body.
Oh, pansies for the body?
Yep, the yellows.
Oh. Well, it's really cute as
Thank
far
you.
as I'll bet children would like to have something like that on the wall in their bedrooms.
Or any dancer. It's just or a giraffe collector.
Oh yeah, a dancer, yeah, a ballerina would like something like that. And then, have you been doing these, or Dorothy, or both of you?
The slides Dorothy does. If you want to grab one of these.
Oh, those. Oh my God, it didn't break. Let's see.
Gravity can be mean sometimes.
I will leave it laying down since we've already shown it. My gosh, that worked out really well that didn't break.
But these are clever. My mother-in-law Dorothy repurposes microscope slides.
Oh, that's what these are,
Yeah.
microscope slides?
A lot of our artwork is recycling from what comes from the earth. We recycle 100% of our frames are repurposed and recycled, and this is a way just to add to it. And she uses a copper tape around the sides, kind of, protect the edging. But they're nice to hold in your kitchen window.
Yeah.
Something little. Up there goes my mic again.
Uh-oh. Yeah, there's a trick to getting fastened back up.
Okay.
Do you want me to do
Please.
it? I don't mind if this happens on Fresh Perspective, because it gives us a little bit of humor to go with the interview. Yeah, there, I think it's in there pretty good now. But anyway, those are really nice. And now you've got done some things on dishes.
This glassware we find a lot at household sales, Helping Hands, Salvation Army, other organizations like that. It's part of the repurposing, and also it helps keep the costs lower.
Yeah. This is nice too. I guess it's a cream pitcher.
Yes, it is. Just a little cream pitcher, and we use Mod Podge, of course, on the glass pieces.
Now, are these mainly just for ornamental? You couldn't really.
I have not used the dishwasher safe Mod Podge much. I would recommend more for decorative use.
Okay.
I want them submerged completely in water, and I don't know if I trust the Mod Podge on that.
Yeah, it's probably not a good idea.
But like something like candies in the dish or cookies on the plate, something dry like that, I'm sure would be fine. But
yeah, I'm not sure I'd even wash it by hand. Actually, I'd be afraid.
Yeah, I like dusting usually because you can feel a lot of the texture still in the flowers.
Yeah, and then they brought these with them. These are ornaments.
Yep. We found some.
This one is, okay, this one is violets.
Larkspurs.
Larkspur?
Yep.
And what would that be?
That would be, actually, that is a rose that I cut down the
my
petals
gosh.
on because the petals were too big to fit, obviously, on there.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And because roses are so thick, when you press them, you need to cut off each and every petal to put in the presses. So.
Right, right. Yeah, that's kind of too bad in a way, isn't
it is, it
Yeah,
is.
yeah. Have you, do you think that in the future you might possibly do flower drying for floral arrangements? Do you think you ever might try that, or is that harder?
I think that would be a little more of a challenge, given that I have 2 indoor cats and an indoor dog.
Oh, I see.
Anything dried like that, our kitten Oscar would really enjoy, but I don't think it would be beneficial to the flowers or to me at that point.
Nerve-wracking.
Yes.
And then they make
Bookmarks.
Are some of these yours?
Yep, those are mine, yeah.
Okay.
Those are bookmarks.
These are bookmarks. They are so pretty.
Thank you.
So, that's pretty much everything that's on the table. Okay, now we have some greeting cards that my technical guy Chris has scanned to show, so he can bring those up now, I think.
Yeah, we can have some with sayings, some without.
Yeah, it says the woods. I'll let you read it.
The woods, oh goodness, the lighting.
Yeah.
The woods flame red with a scarlet oak, or glow the poplars burnished cloak. Within a rustic garden gate, sweet pinks cosmos bloom late. The orchard boughs are bending low, the ruddy Yorks and pipers show. Throughout each village, forest farm steals gold September's peaceful term.
Yeah, it's got the author's name of the rhyme on there. Sometimes she'll have printed on some of her cards, grow where you're planted or something like that.
Bloom where you're planted, and yes.
And that is one that Terri made.
No, that would be Dorothy's.
Dorothy made that one? Oh.
We do kind of have similar tastes on like the fairies and things like that. You can just get so whimsical and have so much fun with, but I consider it an honor that you think that you confuse our work. Mm-hmm. That would be mine.
That is yours. I decided not to try to guess.
No,
I figured. Is that supposed to look like snowflakes or something?
Yes, the Queen Anne's lace. It was an attempt at a Christmas tree using a Dusty Miller and, of course, sweetless and flowers. And
a Dusty Miller, did you say?
Yeah.
Is that what that is?
The opposite side of the leaf. Yeah, Dusty Millers are gray, and if you turn the leaf over, they do kind of get a whiter tint to them.
Oh, okay.
And more of a pronounced stem, you could see.
Yeah. And for the cards, you buy card stock, right?
Yep.
From a store that sells that sort of thing?
Oh, absolutely. And just, again, the Elmer's glue. And what we like most about our cards, though, because a lot of what we use in the cards are recycling, once you mail the card, each and every card will fit perfectly into any 5x7 matted frame.
Oh.
So the card can be framed and kept as a picture
yes,
as well.
Yes.
So I think that helps a bit.
Okay, there's some ladybugs.
Yeah, those are rose petals. The little flowers, the dots on the ladybugs are actually elderberry flowers.
Elderberry flowers,
Yes.
okay.
And Japanese maple for the darker heads
Oh,
on
okay.
the ladybugs. And I believe those are just, I think, just wild leaves on the sides.
Okay.
I'm still learning the names of the flowers, so.
Yeah. I'll bet you made that one.
Yeah, that's a little fairy, and or just a little girl. Actually, I didn't have wings on her, but again, you know, I use the Queen Anne's lace. You can use that for a lot.
It looks like you've used it as lace at the bottom of her
I tried
dress.
to. Thank you. That's what I was going for. And it's still a challenge, though, to learn to cut a dried leaf or flower and not have it crumble and come out the identical shape that you wanted it to. And
What about the little girl's hair? What did you make that out of?
that it would be buttercups.
Buttercups.
Yep, buttercup petals.
Boy, she really has bright hair, doesn't she?
They do keep their color well.
Yeah.
Fortunately, we had a good summer this year. Last year, it was difficult to grow with all the humidity and the cloudy days that we had. This year, with all the sun and everything, it was nicer to get
a
the
better
flowers
year
to come out better. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
This is Dorothy's.
Yes. That has a saying on it too.
Yep. Oh, let me see it. Yep. Let me live in my house by the side of the road, and hear the race of men go by. They are good, they are bad, they are weak, they are strong. Wise, foolish, so am I. Then why should I sit in this, I can't read this, in the scholar's seat, or hurt the cynic's band, or hurt, yeah. Let me live my house by the side of the road and be a friend to man.
Yeah.
Sorry, my new glasses aren't strong enough for that.
That one's really pretty.
That one, that would be my mother-in-law's, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of them we do have a hard time telling, but.
Yeah, I like the pastel shade of pink paper.
Yes.
For the background with the darker pink flowers.
Yes, the contrast.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really nice. Okay, that's all of the ones. Yeah, that. Well, we pretty much showed all of the artwork that you brought. Shall we talk about the book that you brought?
Yes, Dorothy had brought this to my attention because obviously pressing flowers is an older art form for women, but as we were considered the weaker sex once and unable to do other things that we can normally have proven we can. But this is a vintage book of some of the flowers and things that she had pressed through the years, and you know.
Yeah, that's Princess Grace.
Yes, it is.
Monaco, who used to be a movie star.
Yeah.
Grace Kelly.
Among, as well as a flower lover, so.
So she used to do pressed flower art. So that's pretty interesting to know.
It is.
Let me.
Of course.
I'm gonna open it up to some of the more colorful pictures. Here's a beautiful picture taken apparently in Monaco. There. My book of flowers. So, there's a picture of them getting married. It's only black, and over here it's only in black and white though, so you won't be able to see it too well probably. So there were some other pictures of her artwork.
And just the different flowers you can find in different climates as well, too.
There is a rose. I'll bet she got to be really good at it. And there's a picture. She says, I never go anywhere without taking my little folding scissors in the hope of finding some treasures for pressing. So here's a picture of Princess Grace foraging for flowers to use in her pressed artwork. Oh, there's a quote here from Henry David Thoreau, who is an author that I have admired a lot over the years. It says, sympathy with nature is an evidence of perfect health. You cannot perceive beauty but with a serene mind. I like that. Here's a couple of stamps. It says in 1977, 2 of my pressed flower pictures were used on our postage stamps. The one franc and the 80 centime. Stamps I've never heard of before. Flowers are often used as the theme for our stamp issues. So, there's the stamps. Yeah, that's pretty interesting. Here's one. Well, that's just flowers actually growing. This is some sort of lily. Oh, this one was named Liss Princess Grace. This lily, it's a yellow-colored lily. And then there is a picture of her with a garden, a flower garden behind her. That's a really nice picture. People that are from the generation that were fans of hers when she was a movie star probably are enjoying seeing the pictures of her.
And perhaps a lot of them didn't know that she even pressed flowers.
Yeah, I didn't know it. I didn't know it. I love this bouquet in this picture. And there was another picture of her that I liked in here. Here she is with, I don't know, is that her husband? Oh no, that's some other guy, I guess. A picture of some cactuses. Really tall cactus. Lots of cactuses. Yeah, I'm not running across, before we were on television, there was a picture of her in here somewhere.
I should have used a bookmark for it.
Yeah, that she was wearing a beautiful white dress with embroidered flowers on it. Well, anyway, here's some of the pressed flower art that Princess Grace did. Can you get this one? That one's really pretty. Oh my gosh. Everything is so beautiful here. This nice big picture is really nice. Part of what's in that picture is a butterfly right up there.
I was wondering if that's made of leaves too.
Maybe. But anyways, so that's a lot of nice pictures of her in there.
Yes.
So, now do you know of anybody who is teaching classes in pressed flower art that you could recommend to the viewing audience?
Unfortunately, no. Just because, well, just to grow the flowers and pick them, press them, dry them, the fertilizing, weeding, and the time we put into them, learning you'll break so many of them. And to charge people to buy flowers that they're most likely going to break won't encourage them to do that. So I would encourage people just to try and learn on your own. Press them, put them under a book if you need to, because, you know, I'd hate to sell someone flowers that they're end up, you know, making mistakes with and not being able to use. And
Well, I'm assuming there are books.
Oh, absolutely.
That people can get, that are instruction books that people can use.
Certainly. I've been asked about doing different classes before, but just the cost would be ridiculous just for the student alone. So unless they have the determination to grow and pick and press and dry, which I highly encourage, it's very enjoyable to do. But
the people can actually, maybe the thing to try first would be doing wildflowers first that they don't actually have to plant and grow themselves.
That they could press themselves too, though. And
that they can, you don't happen to know in what any of the books are then?
No, offhand, no, I'm sorry. I've been strictly learning from Dorothy, my mother-in-law.
Just a student, yeah.
And then a lot of the books she'd give me to loan me were inspirational, just like this one is. You can get different ideas and, you know, different uses of different plants. And so that's where I get a lot of the inspiration from.
I'm gonna, she's in the studio. Do you want to shout out some names of books that you maybe know? You don't know of any that are just instructional?
Not offhand.
So, okay. So what kind of advice would you give to people who are thinking about taking up learning any kind of an art form? What kind of advice would you give to them?
Try to force yourself as much as you can to stick with it, because at first it's hard to have the discipline. To keep up on it. Even like watering for me takes about 40 minutes a night during a dry day during the summer, you know, and you have to do that every night.
For watering the ones that you're going to, that you're growing yourself.
So when you have 60, 70 plants, you have to water each and every night and, you know, every day of the week. A lot of people lack that discipline. So for me, it was a lesson learning how to do that. And it's been helpful. It's almost therapeutic now. I live out in the country where I have access to a lot of these things, you know, where people in the city would have more of a challenge. But for me, it's also been a lesson in patience. And I've said this more than once. It's a good learning lesson, but I have discovered I have some very colorful and creative language skills. It's, and that, but I try not to get discouraged, but it is therapeutic. And for me, it's an important part because we're recycling what comes from Mother Earth. And I think people just take things for granted, like that we step on every day, and they don't appreciate what a leaf could, become in a picture. Or, and so for us, at least for myself, that's an important part of it. I really, it's better for the environment, and can say,
a lot
it's
of
repurposing.
people, a certain amount of people are doing what they call upcycling. Now, some of them buy old dishes and things that they find at secondhand stores, thrift stores, and like that, and they will glue them together to make something else. And there's this one person that I have found the last couple of summers at the Westfield Arts and Crafts Show in the Village Park there, that does upcycling with clothing. Now, I have a couple of t-shirts that I bought from her that she dyed, to make them look different from how they were. I don't know if she buys ones that are just in really good shape, probably at thrift stores and things. You can find a lot of really nice clothing in thrift stores, but she also makes dresses and skirts and things out of used t-shirts. You bought one from her one time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I did.
It's like a denim,
Yep.
like she's taken a denim shirt, part of a denim shirt or something
And
like
a
that.
skirt for the
And
bottom.
use some other material she
Yep.
got somewhere to make into a skirt that she for the skirt part of the dress. Yeah, she makes some really interesting things. I tried to talk her into coming on an episode of Fresh Perspectives, and she was like, absolutely not. I get scared too easily. I get scared. She's going, I get stage fright. It's really, really easy. Now, you're wearing an interesting necklace there.
This is actually, my husband made this for me when we first started dating.
It's
Actually carved out of a deer antler.
Oh, it is?
Yep. And he got a piece of turquoise that he mined when he was a child in Nevada.
Oh.
And he even, if you can see, we got 2 T's on the back for Tom and Terry.
Oh, okay.
But, he carved that. And, a lot of it is all repurposing, and he made use of these. And, a lot of artists and vendors are starting to do that now.
I know.
At the Westfield show, they had a woman selling shopping bags out of chicken feed bags, dog feed bags. Did you see those?
Probably.
Yeah, and but they hold so much weight,
Probably,
and that's
yeah.
People really have to start thinking about recycling and making use of what we already have, and not necessarily having to have new, brand new, rip off the plastic package, and you can make new out of repurposing, like you'd said. So for me, that's a big part of it. We each and every frame we have is recycled. My husband, bless his heart, is really helpful at fixing them, and they need refinishing and sanding,
and
whatever.
You probably get the frames at thrift stores, don't
Absolutely,
you? Yeah.
absolutely. It keeps the cost down, but also goes along with our recycling.
Right.
That's the school glue or Elmer's glue. That's environmentally safe. It's sound. It's friendly. There are.
I think that Dorothy one time said she also uses something called tacky glue.
Yeah, which is pretty much along the same thing. It's non-toxic. It's water soluble. It is. It's healthier for the environment. We buy acid-free cardstock and recycled cardstock whenever we can find it, which is difficult anymore with the way things have been lately.
Yeah.
But for us, it keeps the cost down, but also goes along with our purpose of recycling what's around us. And I think more and more the younger generations especially are starting to appreciate that fact. I am proud to say that everything here is handmade here in the US of A using all recycled and natural materials.
Oh, yeah.
And
yeah.
for us, that's important, I guess. And, I'm glad that we could spread that onto our artwork, and perhaps it'll encourage others. I'd hate just to think of being a gone art when there aren't really a lot of people that have the patience to try and do it, but I do encourage it. It's very therapeutic.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Now you and Dorothy sell your artwork at arts and craft shows?
Yes, we do.
Would you like to tell the audience which arts and craft shows you do during the year? So in case they want to go and find you?
Yes. We tend to go to Franklin, their Spring Flower show that they have, Franklin, Pennsylvania, as well as their Fall Apple Fest. We, the Westfield Park Show, of course, we've seen you there, Fredonia Farm Festival. We have Wild Winds at the Warren County Fairgrounds. Those are some of the regular ones that we've attended, although we do expand from time to time. If we hear of a new show, we will try that. Of course, Dorothy has won ribbons for her artwork at various shows. She was first place at Letchworth State Park for mixed media a few years back, right before the lockdown, as well as she won first place at the Canal Fest a few years ago for mixed media.
Let's see, that's in Buffalo,
Yes,
right?
it is. Yes, it is.
Yeah. And then, let me think here. Do you do the one at Panama Rocks?
We have done that, yes. When they have, a lot of the shows really aren't back up and running yet since the lockdown and everything has happened. So yes, and Dorothy enjoys that show. We like that very much, and it's a beautiful atmosphere, but it's also very close to home for some of us.
Oh,
so.
yeah, you don't. You said that you didn't stay somewhere overnight in Franklin, Pennsylvania, that you actually commuted the whole way.
We did.
For 3 days.
And that's a long day when you close your tent at 6 and you have to, zip up and get to the car and get home, and it makes for a longer day, but it's what you have to do, and,
Yeah.
It's because we enjoy it, and it's determination, and
yeah.
makes me consider Airbnb sometimes, but
Airbnb?
yeah, but for us to stay, it would be difficult. We have chicken coop that needs closing and animals that need cared for, so staying overnight a lot of these shows really isn't a possibility in some cases.
Right, because you have to take care of your animals, so you'd
absolutely.
probably have to hire...
And someone has to water the flowers.
And you would have to hire a pet sitter if you stayed away overnight. So...
Can you use fall leaves?
Oh, yeah, he just asked if you can use fall leaves.
Absolutely. Right about now, I'm like a squirrel hoarding nuts for winter, trying to get the leaves that we can, because once the snow hits us, that's it for the inventory until next spring. And
squirrels.
Yeah, that's what I am.
Now there's something that you could make pictures of with flowers and leaves. It's pictures of squirrels.
Now, Dorothy does them very well. I've tried them once, and it really kind of looked like a deformed rat.
A deformed rat?
It did. It didn't come out right, but...
Well, it's... like I said, she does pictures of the deer, and her pictures of deer have gotten to be very realistic looking, but I can remember the first time I saw one that she did, wasn't as, realistic looking, but, you get better at it.
Yes, I agree. I've devoted more time to it in the last year, so I'm just starting to figure things out a little better, and, if you do that off and on, I was forgetting things like, oh no, this flower doesn't dry right, and
Well, I'm wondering if on some of the background paper that you use, if you would it be possible to actually draw a picture on the paper first and then glue the flowers and leaves on to help make it look better? Do you do that at all?
I do trace on, like, for example, the giraffe picture, because if you try to do that blind eye, it's the perspective will be wrong. The dimensions won't always be correct. And a friend of mine, actually, artist named Carrie Sorter, drew the pattern for the giraffes for us specifically.
Oh.
And from that, that's the same pattern. I will gently trace that on the poster board just so I have the lines where, I'm not good enough yet to where I can just do that out of recall memory. But
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, okay, so she's, this friend of yours is very talented
Oh, absolutely.
with drawing animals and things.
yeah, she's done several different patterns for me off and on. I'm like, well, I'd like to try this picture, and she'll sketch out a few pieces and, find one that'll work with the flowers and try and keep it original. But like I said, Dorothy and I, our styles, as you've seen, are very different. So I don't have the realistic that she does, the realism into it. But
So, so anyways, you could probably have this person come with you sometimes to arts and craft shows.
if I could get her to, yes, she's a grandma, so she spends a lot of time with her grandkids and her puppies, and
I see.
she's but she's a sweetheart. I need her to draw something, boom, she's always there for me to help out.
Well, that's good. That's good to have a friend like that.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Carrie's wonderful.
We have about 6.5 minutes left, so what else would you like to say about the pressed flower art?
I'd like to encourage anyone to try and do that. It's, like I said, for any flower lover especially, it's going to be like a therapy, and it's a great way to preserve what you have around you, and also it makes great gifts. Even I've sold before in the past create your own card kits, and they've been very popular at like young ladies' birthday parties, like 10, 12 years old,
that's
for an
something-
activity.
So that's something that you make for.
Yes,
for
I have
them.
done in the past. Yeah, and it's kind of handy because you can personalize these items. We've done obituaries. My father passed, and I've been going to his home, and and I pick leaves and flowers I've been growing there. And at Christmas time, I'll be putting those around his obituary and framing them for family. And
Oh, that's really nice.
there's so many possibilities. We've done our wedding invitations. Bridesmaids and I sat down with my mother-in-law, and we put flowers on all the invitations. And
Oh, this was what you did before you sent them out?
Yeah.
Then? Oh.
yeah, so the
yeah,
possibilities
yeah.
of how you could personalize even a card or something basic, with even buttercups, dandelions, whatever you have growing around you. And it's good, I think, to get that creative side out in you. Even if you don't think you have it, you've got to give it a try. You'll never know. And especially with younger kids. This is something more that would get involvement for mom, dad, or any relative spending time with them, because honestly, I think kids doing this too much and not getting outside enough is really,
Yeah,
not healthy.
because you do have to get outside to pick the flowers and the leaves.
And this is a good, healthy activity that parents could do with their kids. Get out together, take a walk, bring a Ziploc baggie, put your things in a Ziploc baggie until you get home, and if you don't have a plywood press, just put them in between pieces of paper with newspaper and under a heavy book for a few weeks.
Right,
And,
right. Yeah.
So it's a good, you can get creative, you can personalize things, have kids get involved with it, and, I think it could be, something that would really grow with a person, I guess.
Do you think you're maybe going to incorporate some other craft items at some point in time?
I've thought about it, and and I'm fortunate that we can say at this point, trying to keep the inventory has been a challenge.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
yeah, it can be.
I have thought about that. I would like to be able to, venture off onto different. I've had several people ask me about doing the wedding invitations, bridal bouquets, and things like that. So there are personalized that you can do as well, but.
Yeah, that, depending on how many people are invited to a wedding, it might be kind of unrealistic to do a whole.
Well, depending on the
person's
budget for the wedding too.
Yeah,
That's,
yeah. Yeah, because it might take you, I mean, some people invite a couple hundred guests to their weddings, so.
Yeah, it depends on how elaborate. You know, our flowers, or our wedding invitations that we had done, we just used flowers that we had. They didn't all have to be matching. You know, some were sweet alyssum, some were pansies, some were blue butterflies. You know, I mean, it just, you know, they didn't have to be identical, and it's really hard to get that symmetrics going because
Oh, yeah.
no two flowers are really
When
going to
you're
be alike.
doing something with pressed flowers, if you're doing it on invitations, you're not going to be able to have each one look exactly the
Yes.
same. So, well, you could make gift tags
Oh, yes.
too.
One day I would like to encourage my mother-in-law to perhaps, like her detail picture that we looked at earlier, to perhaps have prints made of them to sell because the
Oh.
originals
Take forever.
and they always sell so quickly. Whenever she has them, they are always the first to go. And even her identification pictures, you know, I thought, you know, in the future it'd be nice to be able to do something like that where they're not the originals, but they're going to be very good prints, you know.
Yeah, she's. I know. I've been around her when she's been selling her artwork, and you hear her say to the people, "Yes, these are real flowers and leaves." She has quite the personality
Oh, yes, she does.
for talking to people at arts and craft shows.
Oh, yes. And but, you know, and that's part of it because you get people interested more in it. And she's expanded on so much in her work, just from even the microscope slides and different things like that. And it really intrigues people when they learn that these are real leaves. And more than once, we've actually had someone look and ask, "How did you paint that so it looks like a leaf?" And you have to explain to them that
It
they are
really
real
is a
leaves.
leaf.
And,
Yeah,
it's,
yeah.
You know.
Yeah, if you're not close up to some of her more detailed work that she does with scenery, if you're not up close to it, you could very well think you are seeing a painting.
Exactly, yes. You don't get the perspective of the veins and the leaves and things like that until you do to pay attention more, yes.
Right, right.
But
So-
I enjoy it, and I'm glad she has been able to share this with me.
I'm glad too. It's really nice that you can share something. And do you want to? You said your mom's going to be seeing this
Yes.
episode. Would you like to say hi to your mom
Yes.
while you're still on television?
Hi, Mom. Yeah, she's going to be very excited. She's living in Jamestown. She's going to have a lot of people, I'm sure, and friends in her building watching me, and every relative.
Okay.
I
well,
appreciate being here. Thank you.
Oh, well, thank you for coming on today. We've come to the end of another episode of Fresh Perspectives, and I'll see those of you in the viewing audience on the next episode.